So of course we had the Doom train, which was a pretty cool reference. I was honestly kind of surprised that they used the Doom train because it's a pretty obscure summon, all things considered. It's not all that iconic compared to something like, I don't know, Knights of the Round or Eden or Anima. But I guess they're slowly like using up. I wonder how many summons we even have left as like references to use at this point. I know there are quite a few, but yeah, I guess they're slowly using them up. They also did something interesting where, similar to the Cloud of Darkness fight in the Eden raids, it was kind of like a mix mix of two games. It had the boss itself is a reference to the Doom train from Final Fantasy VIII, but it used the boss tune from Final Fantasy IX. So I do feel like it worked a lot better here than in the Eden raid. That was pretty cool, and the fight was really enjoyable. My friend did say though it's a bit of a shame that there was no reference, like if you did the Omega raids where you fought the Phantom Train. Could have been cool if your character could have had a line like, oh, you know, I've done this before. I fought a crazy train on a platform before. Not the first rodeo, so to speak. A really enjoyable fight. I do think it's funny though the way they introduce this boss, right? Like, let me show this here. So yeah, you kind of have it like, you know, you're just chatting with some people and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a Doom train approaching. And it's kind of random. It's like, what? It just kind of comes out of nowhere, to be honest. But I feel like, I wonder if it was probably even intentional, right? It was kind of like, the developers were like, oh, we need to have a boss fight somewhere. So like, screw it, just have some, just have this train. Yeah, there's just a train and it's just moving through here. It was an armored vehicle used to transport war beasts to the front. So it was apparently made by Lindblom, runs through the continent, and on occasion, and then it just destroys everything in its path. And it's kind of, I guess it's meant to be like kind of like a force of nature, right? Like it just exists. I do like how it was framed as well. We kind of just show up. And to us, like, this wasn't even anything special, bro. Like, we fought a lot worse. Even a train like this we fought before. It's just really funny to see the NPC's reaction. It's like, you know, to them this is like some doomsday scenario, and we just show up and we're like, well, might as well destroy this thing while we're here. So I do think it was fun, even though yeah, it was a bit goofy how it just pops out of nowhere. It's like, oh my god, Doom train. It kind of worked, but this did kind of make me wonder, like... Oh, no, let me take a step back. I think it worked a lot better than the 7.2 MSQ boss fight with the Zelenia, or whatever her name was, the Beatrix reference, because that one was kind of similar. It kind of came out of nowhere, but in that case it was supposed to have some impact, I guess, to one of the characters' spin, but it just didn't. So I feel like this actually worked a lot better, because yeah, it came out of nowhere, but it was also just a fun distraction. You know, it was kind of, yeah, like just have this fun boss fight, why not? But you know, to me, this did actually spark a bit of a dialogue in my head, like internal. Well, I guess it's more of a monologue when it's in your head, but yeah, like it did spark some thoughts in regards to the whole. Let me take a step back. Ever since Endwalker, they changed to this thing where instead of having a dedicated trial series, where we have a storyline where we fight a bunch of trial bosses, they instead started baking them into the MSQ, or the trials. And they followed that pattern in Dawn Trail. And these instances like Doom Train and the Zelenia fight, it kind of makes me wonder if that was even a good call in the end. Because... I don't know, I'm curious what you guys think, but I prefer the dedicated trial series, to be honest, because it feels like often they run into this scenario where they just don't have time to flesh out and set up the boss fight properly in the MSQ. And it feels like sometimes they just throw in the boss fight because we need a boss fight here, right? You know, it's the Doom Train is a prime example. It's kind of like, I mean, it's fun, but it kind of makes you wonder if it was necessary. Whereas if we had a dedicated trial series, you wouldn't need to do that. And also, I have to say, I personally really liked the trial series. I don't know how well received they are overall in the community, but I really enjoyed, you know, the Four Lords and the Warring Triad and the weapons. They were really good storylines in my opinion. So it's a bit of a shame that we don't have them anymore.
I actually think the trial series is a way better way of doing it, because I have friends who like are so mega casual that they literally probably couldn't get through the MSQ because they had to do trials.
It is true, especially the Doom Train. For a casual player, it is kind of a difficult boss fight, especially when you cannot use trusts to do the trial.
Yeah, exactly. And like, not just that, also like, for example, this friend of mine, she was like, she was stuck on, she couldn't do she was so new to the game that she couldn't do the solo duty for the ruby weapon. Not the ruby weapon, sorry, the weapons, the sapphire weapon, that's it. She couldn't do solo duty, she couldn't do it. She took her like a month or something to beat it. Yeah. And I thought to myself, well, at least you can do the MSQ, right? And then she was like, yeah, I'm happy I can still do the MSQ because I don't want to do this because it's too hard for me.
Yeah.
And then she could go back to the trial series later once she like had the mustered up the skill to do it.
That's another good point. Yes, the fact that if you have the fight be part of the MSQ, I do feel like mechanically and difficulty-wise, you probably need to tone it down a bit, even in normal mode, so that more casual players can clear the MSQ. Whereas if it's a dedicated storyline, you can make it a bit more difficult, a bit more interesting. Although, to be fair, in Dawn Trail they have made even casual content a bit more difficult, so maybe that's not true anymore. But in any case, I don't know, maybe I'm just old school, maybe I'm just a boomer. I would be interested to know, like, especially people who started since Endwalker, like what they think about it. Was the trial series method better or the MSQ method? I'd be curious to know.